Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Compost. One of the things that people ask after they've been vermicomposting for a while is how do I store my worm castings? And what I think they really mean is how do they store their vermicompost? Because most of us know that the goodies in worm castings are really not just the worm castings, it's the microorganisms and the organic matter that we can put into our soil. So if you think of how do I store worm castings as how do I store life, then that becomes much easier to answer, because all we need to do is think about what we need as people to keep ourselves alive. Then we apply that to the microorganisms that we're trying to keep alive in our vermicompost. So we need to be, as humans, protected from the elements. We need moisture, in the form of water, of course, and we need a food source. And really, if we have those three things, we can stay alive for a long time, and so can your microbes. So let's start with the UV light. There's nothing in the natural world that is going to kill your microbes faster than being exposed to the sunlight. So we want to keep your worm castings in a dark place, or at least a place that they are not going to be exposed to sun. Easy enough there. The next thing we're going to do is we got to keep things moist. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I kind of harp on moisture as a really a key factor in vermicomposting. It's also a key factor in keeping your microbes alive. With vermicompost, you want to have about a 70% moisture level during the vermicomposting process. I think if you have screened your castings, you can expect to have a little bit less than that. Let's call it 50-55%. It's going to be enough that if you take the finished castings and you sort of smush them between your fingers, it should be sticky a little bit. The casting should stick to one another, and it should stick to your skin. And if it does that, then you probably are in the right range of moisture in order to keep your microbes alive. So we want to maintain those moisture levels to that point. The next thing we need is a food source. So microbes in your vermicompost bin typically are going to be consuming carbon. That is the food source. So we want to take a high carbon material like dried leaves, and we just want to spread them over the top of the worm castings. You might even take them and sort of mix them into the top layers, just so the stuff down below can get the can get the good stuff too. And this is really going to be enough organic material in there that is going to keep your microbes alive. Now, I will say that one person's finished vermicompost is going to be different than another. So somebody may already have a lot of organic matter in their vermicompost that is going to keep their stuff alive for a long time. I've heard of a lot of people that have harvested their worm castings, left it to sit 6 months, and as long as it was moist and protected from UV light, they came back, put their stuff under a microscope, and could still see a lot of bacteria in there and other microbes. So, but really, the principle still stands that if you're planning on storing your worm castings for any period of time, you want to keep them protected from the sun. You want to keep them protected, or you want to keep them moist, and you want to keep them fed with some sort of organic matter. And again, I think that something like leaves are going to be good enough. So guys, I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you again on the next episode of Coffee and Compost.